explanation of what it's about and what they see. But the trailer, you bring up an interesting point. Trailers often want to tell, most of the time you're always fighting the studio over it because they want to tell the whole story in a matter of 30 seconds. And so they try to put a little bit of everything in there, and so you end up with a lot of nothing, really. So, so you try to, and they've made some trailers that had accentuated the story, and then some that accentuated the tsunami. The problem with accentuating the tsunami is all of a sudden it becomes an action movie, and everybody goes there with the expectation that maybe they're going to see a giant 2 hours of flooding. That may not be the case so much, but if you go into this stuff with the kids and you go into a lot of detail, then they'll think, well, maybe this is a story that doesn't have as much action and adventure as I'd love to have.
It's a tricky story.
Yeah, it's a tricky story because this particular screenplay you have to flesh out all the characters, it's tough to do. It's tough to market a film like this.
Would you have preferred it without the wave in the trailer?
Would
you have preferred it without the wave in the trailer?
Well, any marketing department, I think, is always going to want to try and show the scope, right? And it's an incredible sequence, and so I think it would be. I understand you know, obviously you want people to be totally surprised by it, but at the end of the day, they're in that situation where they want people to come see the movie too. You know, I remember with The Informant, I kind of jokingly went on David Letterman intercut scenes from Transformers to try to get people to go. Yeah, it's about a whistleblower, but like a lot of shit blows up.
Yeah, I would have preferred to not show the tsunami and have it just sprung on everybody, but that's just not the practicalities of life. And you do want people to come in and see it, and then hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Thank you. Great film.
Thank you.
I just want to jump in on that in a way, because the tsunami ended up almost, I'm not saying disproportionately, but just simply because of what happened to tsunami and how many lives were lost in the tsunami. And when I came to putting in these real life, you know, I was actually probably even more, being a Londoner, there were two sets of London bombings. There was, I think, July the 7th and July the 21st. I might get that wrong, but I know that they were a fortnight apart. And I happened to be in Holborn, in central London, on the second one. And what happened was, because of the extent of the terrorist bombing on the first July 7th, the whole of London shut down. And I was in the middle of town in exactly where one of the bombs was from. And what happened was there was this extraordinary rush. They turn off all the buses are instructed, and an alarm goes off in the central London transport network. They turn off the key, no matter where they are. If they're just turning a corner, they stop there, they open the doors, everybody out of the buses. And these buses in Holborn, there were 6 or 8 buses, like empty skyscrapers. And people were just running. And I happened to have a destination to get to, and people had collectively decided to run one direction. And I happened to be going the other direction. And when I saw their faces, I thought, I've never seen people in my city so frightened. And they were removed from the telephones, and I was very conscious of the fact that tsunamis and these bombings, the tsunami and the bombings had happened within a short space of time, and that we were being presented with the possibility of imminent death in a metropolitan context, you know, on our holidays. It was, you know, the idea of us having a natural longevity didn't seem to be there anymore, and it's not that something that happened at any time. That's why I wrote it and wrote these real events. The fact that the tsunami was bigger than the other ones shouldn't distract, hopefully, viewers from thinking this could happen at any time, and that's why I wrote it, and that's why I thought, well, actually all of us are having to confront this issue of what happens and what will happen if I die. Because I thought, if I could do anything to lessen the fear that some of these people have of dying, and that's one of the things that propels me to write it.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for.